This is the 2025 Honda HR-V Sport. What do you get for less than $30,000? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary, and today's video will cover a few things. Number one, there are no changes to the HR-V for 2025, at least not in the US market. Now, maybe there are in some other parts of the world, but I wanted to tell you about something very interesting. There are a few YouTube channels out there that are using AI to create thumbnails and even portions of their video, if not the whole thing, claiming that the HR-V is all new for 2025 or refreshed for 2025. That is not the case. For those of you who already know about the HR-V, well, sorry to disappoint you. For those of you who don't know about this second generation of the HR-V, I'm going to give you all the particulars on this mid-range trim level. But just be forewarned, there are no changes. I am going to do a podcast about car review videos and AI and what you need to know here in the very near future, so keep an eye out for that. If you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video to the Holmes Honda website where I'm shooting this video. Let's get into what this model does have. By the way, you have EX, Sport, and EXL as far as your trim levels. This is the Sport trim level, so that mid-range still coming in under $30,000. LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. You will not find any fog lights, but with the height of this model, I don't think that's a big deal. You're still gonna have plenty of light on the road as far as that goes. We do have active air curtains right here. You can see where everything passes through the front end and comes out right here. That's gonna help to improve your gas mileage. What about your safety features? Well, you have Honda sensing to start with, adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation braking, collision mitigation, lane keeping assist, and traffic jam assist. Now, this particular model is front-wheel drive, but the good news for those of you who need all-wheel drive, it is available. Let's talk about our tire and wheel size on this particular model. 225 on our width, a 55 series sidewall wrapped around the gloss black 18-inch wheels, which I think are very appropriate for the Sport trim level. And I'll get the remote here for you to take a look at that, because you might be surprised at what you see here. There is the remote. Lock, unlock, remote start. You have your panic button and you can push this button to pop open the tailgate. It's not power, but you know that at least you can push that button, and it is dampened, so it's easy to open that. This is crystal black, by the way, with a black interior. Body colored mirror caps. You're going to have manually folding side view mirrors. They are power adjustable. Turn signal indicators are built in. You have blind spot monitoring, and they are heated. By the way, the remote is a proximity key, and you do have the walk away feature. No roof rails here. Don't think that's a big deal. You have your tailgate spoiler, as Honda calls it, or what we often refer to as a rear roof spoiler right here. Your rear window wiper, and LED taillights to finish things off here on the rear. Personally, this is just my thought on the matter. A lot of people I don't think are going to make their decision on buying an HR-V based on this, but it would have been nice to have seen two exhaust pipes back here instead of just one. It would just bring some balance. But again, that's just my thought. Speaking of exhaust, let's talk about what's under the hood. For those of you who are anti-turbocharger, I have good news for you. There is not a turbocharger available for the HR-V. The singular engine offering is a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder. It makes 158 horsepower and 138 pounds-feet of torque. It is made into a CVT, and let's see what all of that does for your gas mileage information. On the sticker, 26 city, 32 highway, 28 combined. 3.6 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. You do have capless fuel fill, and if you're curious, the gas tank size is 14 gallons. When properly equipped, the HR-V can tow up to 1,500 pounds. And as I mentioned earlier, you have a dampened tailgate. It's not power, but you could notice I just lifted up on that just a little bit, and the dampening took over and made it very easy to open. 24.4 up to 55.1 cubic feet of cargo capacity. The seats do fold almost completely flat, so that makes for a nice flat load floor for the most part. Pretty easy to deal with, a little bit of space on each side back here. There is a spare tire and all the tools you need to change a tire located underneath the floor. That's good news. a 12-volt power outlet here in the rear cargo area, as well as lighting on both sides. Let's talk about what your rear seat passengers are going to find. There's actually two options here to use as an armrest. First of all, on the door panel right here, quite a bit of space, and also up here with the windowsill. So a lot of room up there as well, just depends on where somebody wants to position their arm. Both offer plenty of space. A little bit of contrast stitching throughout the interior, and then we have bottle holders on these rear doors, and you can see that contrast stitching continuing into the interior. Now this is cloth interior, not a big deal. At the price point, I don't think you would expect to have any kind of leather or leather trimmed seating. We do have one seat pocket. I've always wondered about that. Why is there only one rear seat pocket? How hard would it be to have one on both sides? At this price point, we are looking at no rear air conditioning vents and no USB connectivity back here in the back seat. And there also is no sunroof. And while pricing may vary from one dealership to the next, here at Holmes Honda, the sticker price is $28,550. Now that flickering effect that you see on the screen right there, that has to do with my camera. It's not really happening in real time. Let's see what else you get for the price. Obviously, you're going to have all of your controls here that you're used to seeing. Power windows, window locks right here. You can lock and unlock all four doors right there. And then your controls for your side view mirrors and their adjustability. You can turn traction control off right there, drop the lever right here, and you can adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And here is what everything looks like as far as the instrument cluster goes. I'll run through some of the features and functionality right here as far as what you can see, information you can get, depending on what you want to know about. Pretty easy to deal with. Steering wheel mounted controls, and we have the controls here for our front and rear window wipers. Over here, you're going to control the exterior lighting, headlights and taillights there, and use those blinkers that so many people like to save the blinker bulb life by not using that at all. This is the 7-inch touchscreen. I can't really say anything sarcastic about this, but this is a 7-inch screen. The more simplistic, I would say, of the two, although the 9-inch screen is really not complicated. But if you're looking for maybe the lowest tech, maybe this is the way to go. Just depends on what you want. Pretty easy to deal with. You don't even need someone to really tell you much about it. But you have all of your different features and functionality here. You do have a multi-view rear view camera with the trajectory lines there. Give you the views, the 3 different views that you have right there. And you also have a knob here for turning the radio on and off and adjusting the volume. You can adjust stations over here. Pretty easy to deal with. Also, several things down here that you can do as well. Pretty easy to deal with. Don't have to tell you too much about that. And you have single zone climate control. In this particular case, there is the USB outlet right there. A little bit of storage right here, your cup holders, and a conventional style shifter. If you want to know about your options, you have the D for drive, S for sport, and L for low. What that does when you go into low, it's going to stay in low gear and low traction situations, but you still have all of the available horsepower and torque at the same time. Now, you do have some additional driving modes that we can talk about right here. So let's see what we have. There's normal, econ, and snow. And you see that sport isn't there because, well, obviously you go into sport with your shifter. Hill start assist, power parking brake, and brake hold mode. Also have space within the center console, a reasonable amount of space, and a quick look at the upper console, just so you can see what's up there in case you want to know. Hopefully that shows up well on the screen. A very comfortable interior, I would say. I would like to go out on a road trip, maybe for a couple of hours or so of driving, just to see what it's like to ride long term or in a longer term situation than what I'm going to have time to do today. Now, you will find heated seats for the driver and the passenger. I dare not leave that on. It is just not necessary today. Both seats are manually adjustable. Keep in mind price point and where we are on the trim level. One other thing before we hit the road for our test drive is the fact that you do have a pass-through here within the center console area, and there are 2 more USB ports, one on each side. So that means that it is possible to have a long enough USB cable to run maybe an adapter or something to the rear seat passengers. That way you make up for the lack of USB connectivity in the back seat. Okay, here we go on our test drive, and I'm going to just be quiet for just a minute. You'll see why. Just drove over the railroad tracks right there. And that does two things. That allows us to see what the suspension and the shocks do for the ride quality, and gives us a little bit of a road noise test, and both seem to be pretty good. I don't know what my lapel mic is picking up in comparison to what I'm actually hearing in person. You do get some road noise, but it's not too bad. It is very quiet here in the interior for the test drive because obviously I want to be able to talk without interference of the radio playing or fan speed issues or anything like that for the air conditioner. So overall, it is nice and quiet in here for me. You have to drive these vehicles for yourself to really know for sure what you think and what's acceptable and what's not. But as far as the seats themselves go, they seem to be comfortable. Like I said earlier in the video, it would be nice to be able to have a little bit more time to see how comfortable I feel after maybe a couple of hours or so on the road, compared to just a few minutes on these short test drives, but not too bad. Acceleration it's going to get you where you need to go, not necessarily going to be neck-snapping performance, as I like to say, but you're not expecting that, not only because of price point, but with 158 horsepower, well, you should be able to get down the road in an acceptable manner, unless you're trying to drive on the Autobahn, and I don't even know for sure if anybody would attempt that. But I don't know, sometimes the Autobahn seems like the road we're getting on right now here in Shreveport, Louisiana, with the way people drive around here, but there's not hardly anybody around me, so I'm not too worried about it today. But getting up to speed has not seemed to be an issue. And like I said earlier in the video, you definitely have technology here that is not difficult to learn or use. That's always a good thing. I am giving a little bit of an acceleration test here, not intentional, but just moving around a slower moving vehicle. No problem, just eased into the pedal and did just fine. I really should go around this one as well, but I just don't have the room. I don't like to cut in front of people too closely to the exit. They may be going the same way I am. We'll find out here shortly. They are. I had to guess at that because they didn't use their blinker to let me know. That's just the way it is around here. Probably the same way where you live. And what about space? As far as this seat goes, even though this is a manually adjustable seat, you can adjust the height. You can raise it, you can lower it. There's a lever on the side that you use to do that. You can adjust the position of the seat back, and so there are some adjustments built in here to help out with that. At 5'10", I'm comfortable. Feel like somebody who is well in excess of 6 feet tall could fit in here without a problem and still be comfortable. Maybe somebody can share in the comments section if that's you. You're over 6 feet tall and you drive a second generation HRV. Curious to know how you fit. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. It's definitely going to get the job done. Great for big city driving because you don't have a large vehicle. So for those who don't need a lot of space, a lot of power, or a really big price point, you're looking to save some money, the HRV is definitely a good option to consider. So tell me what you think about the 2025 Honda HRV Sport and what you're going to get for a sticker price under $30,000. Tell me what your thoughts are. I look forward to reading your comments. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this HRV for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. That helps me out. It's greatly appreciated. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.